In particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums. Yes. Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why. Yeah. You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
Good evening, What I would like to ask is what measure of policing or policing,
No, I like how you put it.
right?
Policing.
Yeah, or policing, right, is there in this country where, because I've worked and walked on Charlotte Street, I am quite aware there are cameras. I'm quite aware that these individuals are not individuals unknown, right? And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Up to this day, I don't think any suspect was held in the matter. No, I could be wrong, right? But I haven't heard any news that, somebody was held, right? So, and is this the image you want to send to the public, that something like this can happen and nobody be held accountable?
Okay, so I want to interject here, right? I think crime in Trinidad and Tobago has evolved the way that it is now, and not recently, but since 1990, right? Because coming out of that event, gangs started, those who were part of the coup.
Let me cut you a minute there, right? Folks, I want to apologize. We have been having some audio issues, right? So information brought to me that you all wasn't hearing us, but it's resolved. So basically we are talking about a shooting that took place on Charlotte Street, right? A couple of days ago with the vendor, right? I think it was 2 days ago, right? So
2 days.
Kevin, as you were saying,
Right. So I was saying that the crime in Trinidad and Tobago has evolved, and I believe it came out from 1990 coup, because after that coup, after the release of that particular organization, members of some of them went and they created their own gangs, and then you have the Rasta City against the Muslims, and then you have other gangs coming up, and then you have drugs, marijuana is started to be produced more. Like for instance, recently we saw a big bus of, trucks, the truckload of marijuana, whatever it is they had there. And I think what would have happened, coming out of that, people, proper things wasn't put in place.
Kevin,
to deal with it.
I want to just cut you there. Now listen, I'm not defending anything. I want to really ask you guys here, and maybe the public, what does marijuana has to do with crime? Does even a gun, can a gun shoot itself? A gun cannot pick up itself and shoot at anyone. It's always the people, us human beings, creating these realities for us. So we can't blame the substances or even the gun. So let us just go away from that. Let me talk about the people who are using these tools to commit these heinous crimes, hurting people.
Well, we do.
That is what we need to focus on.
We do understand that crime. First things first, let us make it clear. We both understand that crime is a social problem.
Fine.
It is not a political problem. It is not an economical problem, right? It's a social problem. So we understand that to understand crime, you have to understand different elements, right? For example, there's the home life, there's the community. We have and it's a holistic view,
and that's why
right?
they group it.
Right. But what I want to focus more on is that, like you said, right? Okay, crime has evolved.
It has.
Why hasn't crime detection evolved with it? Right? And again, I'll ask the question, why is it that today, since 1990, that a young man, right, with a short pants, a vest and a slippers, not saying he had on a short pants, a vest and slippers, I just painting the average picture. He could walk up to somebody in broad daylight, right, and just kill somebody, right? And up to now, nobody has been held accountable. Why hasn't the crime fighting aspect has evolved as in accordance with the crime?
Because the focus for dealing with crime, I think the government, the police service, organizations, they are focusing on the wrong element when it deals with crime. Crime is supposed to be dealt with from home at first. Because parenting, the Bible said, treat up a child in the way that he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart. It also says in Proverbs 1 that you don't, if a sinner entice thee to go and do wrong,
Okay.
you wouldn't follow.
Okay.
Right? So the thing is, parenting. If parents take more control of their children, but you see parents spoil their children from young. And as they get old, they give them the nice clothes, dress them up real nice. They listen, when they're dancing to these gangster music, seductive music, so they whine and they laugh at it. They encourage it.
And that will actually bring us into a totally different topic that we will get on to a little later.
Yeah.
Right? Right? So basically you're speaking about what entices these men into going into, right?
Yeah.
Right?
These men are being sent by the gang leader. They can't tell the gang leader no. And they, of course, on top of that, a little stipend. Come on, these people who does things like that are people who don't really think for themselves. Because sometimes the gang leader is in prison and they on a phone call in prison telling me with my free self out here to go and commit that crime and do this and do that. To come and meet you where? In there?
And all this I understand, but I want you all to try to get where I'm coming from, right? This wasn't a shooting that happened on a block, right? It wasn't a shooting that happened in the middle of the night or in pure darkness. This is a shooting again that happened in broad daylight, where a lot of innocent people could have gotten injured. Right? I could even remember the story. A woman said she was standing up with her child waiting for a taxi. You understand, right? You know, and you know, the audacity that this gunman had, right, to commit something like this. I mean, where have we gone as a nation that somebody could feel that they're brave enough to do something like that?
It's simple, Jevon. I just said it, Jevon. I just said it. They don't think for themselves.
I don't think they don't think for themselves.
They don't think for themselves.
I think that, and this is my opinion, you all don't have to agree with me. Mm-hmm. Like you said, crime has evolved, right? And unfortunately, fighting elements have not evolved with it.
Okay, let me just
for example,
say this.
Let me cut you. For example, right? If you look at videos of Venezuela, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the gang members in Venezuela compared to the police in Venezuela, right? I've seen videos.
Right.
They are trained somewhat. They look like they are military trained, right? They are well equipped. They are well tactical. You see how they move. They move totally different. And I'm not trying to bash Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, right? I'm not trying to bash them, but I think that more things should be put in place, right? To not, I wouldn't say totally eliminate, but at least deal with this kind of stuff, you know?
Well, you
so how do you suppose they deal with that, Jevon?
Charlotte Street is full of cameras.
Okay, you said something. Forget the cameras for now. You said something just on a piggyback in there. Innocent people could have gotten hurt. But you know why innocent people did not get hurt?
Because everybody leave the gunman to take it.
No. Innocent people did not get hurt because that gunman knew who he was going for. He didn't want anybody else. So that already tells you that
he's being controlled.
He not really controlled, but he's involved in some form of miscommunication, or some form of business went wrong, or he's an informant of something. Now, I don't know. I am not saying that the gentleman was in anything. It could have been a wrong identity. It could have been all sort of things.
Right, but let me ask this question. What if something went wrong, for example? Well, in this case, something went right. Let me go back to the robbery that happened in Crep, right, a couple of weeks ago, right, where they robbed the grocery, and unfortunately, right, for the robbers, they happened to drive out in front of a police car, and they chased them from Crep to by Wassa, right? There was a exchange, right? Unfortunately, nobody was injured and it was apprehended. What about if this was a different scenario? What about if it is the vendor ran and the stood behind him?
On the topic of that, I want to briefly say on Sunday gone, I don't know if it's the same incident that you are talking about. I remember Sunday gone, myself and some of my cricket teammates would have had to rescue a jeep, a van that would have turned over and rolled quite a bit on the bush route. The news that we got, they were chasing somebody and they skid because rain was falling and they turned over. So because of our presence right there, we were able to help them break the glass and come out of the van quickly. Okay. I mean, they were a little shaken up, but I mean, I'm really grateful to know that my presence was needed to help them.
Right, now, and that is good, but let me go back to what about if this incident went the wrong way? Because as you can recall, right, Kevin, remember in St. James, right, they had an incident like that recently where, well, it's a couple of months ago, where this young man, on his way home from school, waiting for a taxi, he was killed by a stray bullet. What about if this was another incident?
I mean, those things are unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, to be honest. It goes back to me saying the gun don't really pick up itself and shoot. So it's really basically the mindset of these individuals who don't think for themselves. Right? And wait, let me just say this. And I want to really say this in a way where you could understand, the viewers could understand. In terms of the government dealing with crime, now I'm going to ask all you a question. What is the population of this country?
Average 1.8
or something.
1.5, right? How many murders per year and annually we have?
Between 5 to 600.
So the ratio of 500 to 600 to 1 point something million. Let me just think about it. Think about where you're coming from.
All right.
The ratio of 600 to 1 point something million, they would take that anytime.
You're saying, but on that point, we'll come back to that. Folks, we'll go on a short break and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums.
Yes.
Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why.
Yeah.
You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
And we're back, folks. And this evening we might seem a little bit at each other's throat because we have different thoughts on this topic, but it is a relevant topic in today's society. crime, how it affects us all. Are you safe going to work? Are you safe going home? Are you safe going by the shop? I mean, come on. When will it end? Right? I am very passionate about it because at the end of the day, I am fed up. You know? Come on. Right?
Sorry.
So, Jermaine was making a point when we went to break about the population and is only, Jermaine, one murder for the year is too much.
Yes, it is too much, but only based on the family that lost the person. That's how, no, and I don't mean to sound any type of way. I want to be real here. People need to be real because we're talking about the decent type of murdering here. People, you could actually murder somebody in Port of Spain right now, and other people will walk past, and that is nothing. I also experienced walking on Charlotte Street one time, and a young man robbed an old lady right in front of my eyes.
What did you use to help?
No.
You brought it up. Let me
I'm
ask
not
you, what
going-
did you do to help?
Listen, I was as shocked as the old lady.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, I was as shocked as the old lady.
I'm listening to you all, and what is continually coming to my mind, right? When you look at the demographic of criminals, right? Very young criminals. Look, for instance, the foreigners that were here about last week, or 2 weeks, last week or week before. I think it was last week. They were attacked, right? And apparently the young boy tried to rob them. However, whoever, police, everything, he got apprehended. And I saw a woman doing a video talking about, look, he spoiled their whole life. And there are a lot of young fellas. When you look at them, even the little primary school fellas and them, the thing is this, sorry, the white vest, the short pants falling off your waist.
It has the image.
And the slipper, yeah, right? And I remember telling some young fellas the other day, I said, are you in a gang? And I said, no. I said, so why are you dressing like a gang member? I said, if you dress like a gang member, either one or two people will take you out. Either an ex-gang or police. Because you look like a criminal, you act like a criminal, you dress like a criminal, right? And the thing about it is that society has developed, it's come in a way whereby crime is, and I think because of social media as well too, crime is a, what do you call it? It's a like a movie, you know?
A growing business?
But besides a growing business.
It's praised, it's trending.
Yeah, you know, look, I saw a video recently of two young girls, right? They have the guns in their hand and they flamming it, and the fellow with the mask behind them and stuff. So it is drawing the attention of the young people.
So basically, right, not to cut you, so what you're trying to reiterate is that social media has a part to play.
Social media has a part to play.
In crime or the view of the youths when it comes to crime.
Correct.
So just to twist it, so having more control on the content that is viewed on social media might help to assist with the fight in crime.
Correct.
Okay.
Right? Because, you know, because it's there and people, because right now, you know, long time when you see somebody, you know, get a cut, you just skin up your face and you're kind of, right? Now you're seeing blood, man hair blown away, and the blood is just running, and it's like every day you see it, so you get accustomed to it.
Now, why I asked that question? Sorry, why I asked that question? Because I remember there was an ex-commissioner who actually used social media, right, in his crime prevention plan, right, and they bust his throat. So that asking question, that's why I want to ask it, right? But we wouldn't go into that.
We go into that, right? Because you know he is.
Yeah,
right?
and I don't want to get a phone call when I leave here.
Yeah, he's going to defend himself.
No. I actually liked what he did. Right, I would say, right? But yeah, I don't want to get a phone call.
Right. Yeah. Right. And what I'm saying is, for crime to cease, right, or to be limited, because they have crime of passion, right? Yes, you have the gangs with the drugs, and I wasn't focusing on the marijuana or the guns. I'm just saying that the people that use these things, they control, as you were saying, control those that are in their gangs to do their criminal act. Because, for instance, there was some months ago, late last year, a young fella up in Arima was gunned down. I think police, is it the police or he got gunned? And the people were happy because why? He was a pest, but he was also a gang leader, a young fella. He was in 20 years as yet.
Right.
Right? And he was a gang leader. And what I'm saying is, in the evolvement of crime, right, I believe crime comes out not just on because of social media, right, but because there's lack of discipline, lack of parenting, proper parenting in the homes. Because you see, and I'm speaking from experience when I was in a particular organization. I'm going to call your name, but when I had to deal with parents, there were a lot of parents that came and they wanted us to discipline their children for them because they weren't disciplined at home. From 8 years come up, they was given trouble. And I had to tell them, I said, you are the parents. You are the ones to discipline them. What we teaching them is not behave, sit down, don't do that. That is not what we were supposed to be doing.
Right.
Parenting is from the age that, from the moment that they could start to move and they could you say something to them and they're laughing and they want to talk. You start to speak to them, hey, good morning, good night, you teach them manners. When you say no, you tap them on the finger, on the hand, no. So they understand that.
Right.
And, and you continue training them properly as they grow.
Okay.
Right? So that now, because like, for instance, like, I want to ask that
No,
question.
I like to bring realities and scenarios for
Right,
people
but
to
before you bring that
understand.
one, the area, where I grew up, right, there was a hotbed. I don't live there again, right? But it's a hotbed. And my time, right, when I went to go outline with them fellas in the block because they played football and thing, my father said, no, you're not going outside there, right? Stay in the yard. Let them come and play in the yard, right? The furthest we could go is by the neighbor house, right? And I remember as a child, standard 5, coming up, they would see you and they started to call you out. The fellas on the block, they started to call you out, right? And some of them use football as a means for you to come and play. And they started to talk to you. You're walking on the road, the next block, the fellas them calling you out. So they're trying to rope you in. Okay. So by the time you reach 4 months, you don't, if you, right? But my father said no. And I know of other parents that told the children, no, they're not going on the block. And they're not into these things.
Okay.
Right?
So, basically, to wrap up everything, what we're seeing is that crime has gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
Right? As you'll say, society has become desensitized. Right? As you will be seeing that parents need to pay more attention to the children, try to keep them off the block and stuff like that. What I am saying is that, right, crime is a social matter, right? And anybody who does sociology, right, crime is one of the foundations of a society. You cannot eradicate crime, right? You control crime. It is actually one of the main foundations of a society.
Right.
Right? The thing is, as you said, as crime evolve, crime fighting measures need to evolve with it.
So with that said, I want to put both of you on the hot button, right? Solutions to fight crime, in your own opinion. You are in the position of Dr. Keith Rowley, our Prime Minister, or you are in the position of our Commissioner of Police. What are some of the, give me two crime-fighting initiation for you to,
right, this is actually, let's hold this for another topic. We could go more in depth into this because we have other stuff we need to talk about, so let's not, go too deep into that.
I'm holding you guys to this. I am
no
holding.
problem.
This needs
no
to
problem.
continue.
No problem.
Because I want the people to also be involved. And we need to talk to the director. We need to get a phone lines hook up so that
Right.
people could call in and give.
Yes.
their
All that will
opinions
be
about
coming
it.
soon. And folks, right, I'll take this opportunity to put a plug, right? We are on Plus TV every afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. We're live. We have different exciting topics. You know, we try to talk about what it is prevalent in today's society. Speaking of prevalent, right, we are on Facebook, Tego, and on YouTube.
Yes.
All right? Right? You all are aware that you all can use the band hose in Trinidad, right? Right? Yeah.
band hose?
No, yeah.
No, you need to
and all
clarify
him,
that for
right?
me.
Right? No, the band
When you
hose.
say the band
What do you mean the
hose.
bad hose? I need to know what.
You can't use your hose again.
Oh, like
right,
what do you
okay.
mean? Like
Yeah.
Right? Right? So, in case you all don't know, and in case the general public doesn't know, right? A ban on hoses has been implemented, right? Till June 30th. Right? So, and that goes on to all hose, sprinklers, all apparatus, ornaments, stuff like that are used. So, folks, it is a legal thing. Do not break the law. Be conscious of conserving water. We are in a dry season. And there is a fine. The fine is $75 if you be caught. Right?
$75.
$75.
so how you wash? Well, tell us since you're bringing light to the topic. Tell us how to wash our car and thing. No,
Water and bucket and water.
bucket.
Yeah, but
What?
you know,
people still wash
I
cars
will
in
tell you
bucket.
something, eh? I will tell you something. This is a yearly thing, eh? Once dry season starts, water always comes
Right?
and
Right.
says,
And let me go on that, folks. Right? We have to go to another break. So, guys, we'll be back in a couple of seconds.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums.
Yes.
Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why.
Yeah.
You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
And folks, we are back on Plus TV. We are here every afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. We are here for you, folks, guys, to entertain you, bring topics to you that you might not be aware of. Right? Jermaine, right, you said you wanted to bring something to our
Attention.
attention.
Attention, Mr. Kevin. I would like you to know that I am not accepting no yearly thing and no government could do anything yearly for we. We need to get up to the time for we to control these elements, because water is a basic necessity of life, right? So let me bring you to an example. In Dubai. It's something I always go on and watch because I think it is scientifically magnificent. These people in the desert that hardly gets rain create some sort of device that goes into the cloud and does the same
Cloud seeding.
action of getting water, getting rain, right? And listen, they were so clever. I always go onto YouTube and watch that. And that plane releases some mineral. I will get the name for you guys. The name of the mineral. It's a very extreme and rare mineral they put into the atmosphere, and within an hour or two, they get rain. And it fills the whole dam. They dug like huge depth into the ground to house that water. And that water would last the whole of Dubai for the rest of the year. So I am not going to respond to Kevin and anything annually about water. Why WASA, our relevant authority, cannot control the usage of water? Why year in, year out, people in different communities facing the stress of not having the simple basic necessity of water? Mr. Kevin.
He pointed at you. So.
Yes, he thought I was coming back to you, Jevon. I want him to answer me.
Right. So probably.
Don't give me nothing politically. Don't give me anything politically. I want your own honest answer from you.
Well, everything is a money-making scheme in Trinidad and Tobago. Though. Somebody eating our food, somebody doing something.
But why that to be on the cost of poor people suffering?
Because yeah, the thing is, right? No. I'll not finish the question. The thing is, right? We as people, as always say, we are an island surrounded by water. There are machines that filtrate water, right? And yet, when we have waterfalls, I was at a waterfall Sunday gone, right? And plenty water flowing. But I believe is that it's a matter of control. It controls the public to make people feel as though, we are in a crisis or something like that. And it's also a money-making thing, because if you charge, say like 90% of the population is caught using a hose, right? It's a hose, right? And then they charge them $75 each. But, you know how much money they make in there?
Let's hear Jevon's.
I have a different spin on that. I like how you're using the word control, right? And charging. Supply and demand.
Right.
Make something scarce, you can hike up the price on it.
Value.
Correct.
Right? Again.
So they put in value on water.
Yes, because they're doing that.
Because, like you said, right? Any one of us could go on our computers and we could see, we could look at a lot of different countries and a set of different innovative ways of accessing fresh water, right? Yet still, for some reason, our people in power, right? Apparently they don't need to use the internet. And I'm going to say it, I'm going to be frank, they don't know how to use the internet, right? Because, right, we are facing issues year after year. For example, every time rainfall for 5 minutes, town flooding, right? When you have a bushfire, right, they're scampering, they don't have trucks. It's simple issues, right? And it's not only we're not only dealing with the water. Simple things. Look, for example, a couple of weeks ago, there was a guy who was knocked down on South Key.
Right, yes.
And that
yes.
one person, God rest his soul, caused traffic going right back to after Shagonas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you trying to tell me one incident could disrupt the whole traffic flow, the whole system?
Because, and the thing is, right, things like what is happening is, again, because, for instance, for years we have been saying decentralized Port of Spain. And what they do, they build a whole big complex opposite Hyatt there, right? When they could have taken that money and built up Shaguanas all over the place, right? So now, what is happening now is that things that we need, we use on a regular basis, right? Again, because there are certain areas, I'm sure you could go down in their area, right? And you would see them using the hose and washing on the vehicle, and nobody ain't going to say nothing. Police can't go down inside of there. But let me in my area, right, do that. Again, court case, right? And again, it's a matter of control of the supply and the demand, and they can make money off it, right? But because now, right, a certain portion of the population, right, is being manipulated into believing that this is how it has to be, we run with it, right? And they make sure they put things in place so that we will run with it, right? But when you really look at it, that should not be the scenario.
I agree with you totally, Kevin. I think it's always an agenda behind
Exactly.
an agenda.
Exactly.
And the poor people
Exactly.
are the ones who always feel the pinch of it.
But I'll tell you something, yeah? I'll tell you something. And this is what I praise Trinidadians for this, and I hope they keep it up for as long as it will go. There's the famous food restaurant in Trinidad and Tobago. Up to this morning, I saw somebody put up a status that the Westmall branch is empty.
Okay.
Right? They raise their prices, ridiculously raise their prices. Right? And the mall, all over Trinidad.
Why? Because it have no water to wash the chicken or something?
Well,
Probably.
Well, that is partly because of the price raise and partly because of statements that came out of a particular individual
and
that's affiliated with the owners of the brand.
Correct. And this is what I'm saying is, they're finally making a stance against these sort of agendas and all these people who pull in strings, right? Now, yes, we had in St. Helena, somewhere around there recently, last week, they had a protest in the road because of water and probably and stuff like that, right? And the thing about it, my issue with these protests is that they just protest for a little bit. Sometimes they come and they just get a little word and, okay, I'll promise, and that's it. But if you know right now, it's in France. No, it's France. Yes, France or Germany. All the farmers is months. They're throwing cow dung and rubbish and whatever it is on the steps of Parliament. They're protesting like that. And they will continue protesting until things change.
And I like how you bring that point when it comes to protesting, right? So let's go into, reach a point where the citizens are fed up. We start to protest. We start to cause an unrest, right? And then now it turns into protesting to unrest where it becomes uncontrollable, right? Look at what's going on in Haiti right now.
Yeah, that police officer, he started there. No, there are two types of protests, right? You have the violent ones and you have the ones where it doesn't have to be violent, but you could send out a statement. For instance, again, the fast food restaurant, people stop buying, which is good. So that you have to find a way that will, the people who pull any strings that hurt your pocket, turn it around at them, that it will hurt their pockets, right? So now, you don't want to give us water, you don't want to put in the system, Because even with the Caroni swamp, some years ago, somebody made a suggestion. Why don't pump out the water, filtrate it, and send it back for people to use it, right? Because that is what filtration is about.
Now, I like the fact that both of them at the same time went on the last topic I want me to really touch on.
Which is Haiti.
Yes, Haiti, which is part of it, but protesting.
Right.
Protesting was the other topic.
Okay.
Really. And the reason why I had that topic pending is because it will fall right into place with crime. We spoke about crime. We spoke about WASA and the deficiencies. Now, we're talking a little bit about with Haiti, right? Now we're going into protesting to tie back into all these previous topics, right? Now, what form of mechanism protesting is in the form of protecting oneself against something? That is my first question to you guys.
Right, and we will touch on that, right, when you get back. Unfortunately, we have to go to another break, people, and know that everybody is really in tune to the discussions tonight, but we will take a short break, and we'll be back in a few.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums.
Yes.
Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why.
Yeah.
You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced Reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
With every week, Haiti slides deeper into chaos. Gangs have in recent days attacked the country's container port, international airport, and central bank. Well, Saturday they stormed Haiti's two biggest prisons. One facility held more than 4,000 criminals. This prison worker says there were less than 100 left. About 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince, is controlled by gangs, and one of the most powerful gang leaders is calling for a revolution. Former police officer himself, known as Barbecue, is calling on Haitian police and soldiers to arrest the acting prime minister.
What this mission is bringing.
Now, that man is believed to be returning from Africa. Ariel Henry was in Kenya Friday signing a security deal. About 1,000 Kenyan police officers are set to be deployed to Haiti in the coming weeks.
We are making this response because it is what is right.
Kenya stepped forward to lead the UN-backed mission when no other country would. The U.S. last year pressed Canada to step forward. Ottawa declined. Canada's former ambassador says the Kenyans will have their hands full.
They may control, secure the main assets, but the country is in a chaos at this moment.
Now, there have been protests, with some Haitians questioning whether Henri has the legitimacy to even make a deal with Kenya. He was only sworn in after the president's assassination in 2021. The country's former director of elections says Henri has lost the confidence of the country.
Where the Prime Minister Ariel is now, by himself, it is impossible for him to organize elections.
Haiti appears to be stuck in a vicious circle. It needs security for political stability and political stability for security. It has neither. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.
Wow. Look what's going on in Haiti, and we would like to thank Global News for that piece of snippet, for giving us that information. Guys, look at what's going on in Haiti right now. Right? And as far as the reports we have, so far it's been 1,190 people killed thus far.
Wow.
Which is actually quite similar to what's going on with Gaza, with the fight between the Israelites and the Palestinians. Right? So, we were spoken about protesting. This clearly shows how far protesting could go, because look, as you see for yourself, right? We have police personnel asking for the Prime Minister to be arrested.
Well, firstly, I want to say that sadly, that when I see things like this happening in other countries, the only thing I could do is go on my knees and be grateful that in my country it have the little rangarang, but we're not experiencing that. That is the first thing I want to say. Secondly, when a country reached to that point where the basic necessities cannot be provided by a so-called government. I mean, and I'm not putting the blame on any government to provide anything that we need as a human being. But I'm trying to say that because structures are not in place to govern the country, we'll continue to experience things like this. And this cannot go on, because we're talking about this is way past humanitarian crisis level. This reached the status of every country now putting their heads together and helping Haiti.
I want to remind you that we had 1990, and before that in 1970 as well, right?
Yeah, but those things are not constant in our country.
Right, but going back to protesting, right? You see, there are levels of protesting, right? Some people just go extreme. Some people that try to bring it, the start off, at a level of, okay, let's talk it out, right? We dislike this, we dislike that. Can you all, and we go to the government, hey, like for instance in 1990 was an issue with the cola, right? And that group decided, that the Muslims decided, I'll hear what, enough is enough. And because they have access to the weapons, right, they had a force, they used it. And this is what's going on in Haiti. The ex-police officer, he has access to weapons, he has access to people, he has access to a force, he used it. But what I'm saying is, it is at a cost of people's life and damage to infrastructure, and possibly it may change. Well, right now, this is the first I've ever heard where the Prime Minister, the leader of a nation, can't get back in, the attack, they take over while the leader is out. In Burkina Faso, what his name is, Traoré. Yes, him. He took over, but there was no great violence. He just came and he took over, right? Because he was in the military. And what I'm saying is, we don't want to reach that far. We don't want to have a next 1970 or 1990 here in Trinidad. What we want is that, when I say protests, I mean things that they are using to make money off of us, or to put us, or to suppress the people, right? Stop using it. Stop doing this, stop doing that. right? Until, because for instance, look, this same restaurant, if a whole month pass and they get sales, what's going to happen? And they'll have to carry back on the price or something like that.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to. That's the point I'm trying to get at. When you don't have basic necessities provided, it always results into something else, right? And in my humble opinion, when you have a proper infrastructure, what we call a government, I mean, we ought to believe and think that that organization would create opportunities for people to have that sort of quality of life, right?
Well,
I mean, and wait, when those things are not put in place, it leads to crime.
Right. One of the points I was I'm making is that, okay, for instance, one of the problems we have in Trinidad and Tobago is that when we go to protest about something, especially like when the unions say they're protesting.
No, we argue. We don't protest.
Right.
Let's get that out.
When you look at this move, okay, they say they're going to march through Port of Spain to against a 5% increase, right? Oh no, a 2% increase in salary. That's not good. We're going to march through Port of Spain. They start at 7 o'clock in the morning. When you see their lineup, it's because who done drinking already, right? Who look done drunk? It's like a line.
We don't protest,
right? Well, you see, the thing is with that, and I like to state this, right? The drinking and stuff like that, that's our culture, right? So you can't take our culture into that.
Yeah, but then the government is going to take it serious.
Exactly.
But here's the
thing.
No, but here's the thing, right? You said that, right? The government, you want to use the government. I like to use the powers and be. They are responsible for providing basic necessities.
Yes.
We're not talking about now 2024, right? We're talking about 2023, 22, 21, going back. However, they have not been able to do that ever. How far are we from reaching to that point?
Then
right? Because I believe we are not too far, because look at it. The gang leaders, this is where Haiti reached to this point. It is not the military, it is not the police. Well, okay, they talk about one police officer, but it's not the police on the whole, right? It is the gang members that actually standing up asking for reformation.
Having said that, we don't need a government then, because we're doing very well. We surviving, we more than surviving. So we could X off our government then. Because they don't have a government to provide the basic necessities, hence the reason why it reached the point of that type of protesting, a takeover. That is more like a coup.
Right, and you think the same thing is happening here. That is why I would like to say that there are a lot of people asking for constitutional reformation, and that's a whole another topic.
Yes.
Right? But guys, be honest. Let me ask this question. Do you all think that the basic needs of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago are being met?
By whom?
By the parties responsible for doing it.
Who are the parties responsible for giving
it?
No, listen, we need to be very clear when we're having this type of discussion, because this is sensitive, because there are people out there who will sit and say, but that is your prerogative. You have to feed yourself, you have to house yourself, you have to clothe yourself. But little
I'm supposed to fix the road that are paying tax.
No,
money too.
Again, there are another bunch of people, or another group of people would argue the fact that, hey, I paying my taxes, I giving my service. So